everybody, just got done watching 1997's cinematic monster from James Cameron, Titanic, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, Billy Zane, Kathy Bates, Bill Paxton, David Warner. It's a huge cast. I mean, considering this is 3 hours long, of course there's going to be a big cast. And let's face it, I think pretty much everything that can be said about this movie has been said. It's been parodied to death, etc, etc. So really I'm not going to be able to say much. I mean, if you don't know about this movie, then there's nothing really more I can say. I've always been fascinated by the history about the Titanic and all the facts and stuff. I've watched documentaries, listened to audiobooks, etc, etc, even before this came out. So I was kind of a big nerd about the Titanic story anyway. But I didn't actually see this in the cinema. I didn't see it until it came out on VHS. So, but it makes me sad that such a, I mean, so much detail in this movie has been made to be, true to the history. Be it, I mean, I've seen the making of documentary of this, and it cracks me up that they're like, oh, there really was this woman sat having tea while Ismay was talking to the captain about lighting the final 4 boilers, and there really was these people on the deck playing with a spinning top and that. And yet, the main focus in this movie is on a completely fictional love story. I do not understand why they could not have, focused on real people. Now, I guess argumentatively it could be that, they're trying to protect protect the dead and all those kind of things that they normally say are excuses for coming up with fake names and stuff. But it just makes me really sad that they had to come up with this fake coupling. But I do like this film. It's a total chick flick. Of course. But I am a sucker for this movie. The only thing is, well, actually, there's 2 things that really piss me off about this movie. Other than the whole fake storyline. One, I hate the aspect ratio this is presented in. It's that very thin letterbox style, and it is really annoying on my widescreen TV to still have huge chunks of black lines top and bottom of the screen. I mean, my TV's big, and yet I've got this thin, I'm still struggling to see the thin strip of action in the middle. I think that is one thing that really annoyed me. Like I say, I didn't see it at the cinema, so I don't know how much that was affected in the cinema, but I just know on my DVD it really pisses me off. And the other thing that really gets to me, the whole stuff with the old Rose in this is just so pointless. I mean, you could have easily started this movie, cut the whole first half hour, just had them starting the movie from Titanic leaving the docks, and it would have been fine. You do not need all this stuff with Bill Paxton's character, searching the ruins. And I know it's James Cameron's kind of nerdgasm, if you will, because he got to do all that kind of stuff while researching for the movie. But it's just so... it's so pointless. And I mean, what is the point of having old Rose turn up to not only essentially give us exposition which is then explained later on in this movie? And I mean, fair dues, by the 3-hour mark you've probably forgotten anything was even mentioned at the start. But it's just so ridiculously... And also, even worse is when they have this specialist on this exploration trek who, like, takes old Rose through his computer-generated simulation of the sinking of the Titanic. And he's going... And essentially... is, well, kind of wanking off to it as he's going, oh... And getting all excited about the bangs and crashes and stuff. And I'm just like... Dude, she lived through it. There is no need. And the fact, again, literally 2.5 hours later, we see this all in action. There is no reason for all that. So all that, and when they flash back to, they go back to the present later on, it's all completely pointless and completely drags you out of the movie. I mean, I'm enjoying watching this story, and then they keep going back to old Rose and, oh, it was love, it was this, it was like, well, we can see that. Show. Do not tell James Cameron. This is a main rule of filmmaking. You do not need to give us little exposition dumps every now and then, which will then be brought up again. But other than that, I do love this movie. No matter how much it is worth taking the piss out of this movie, no matter how many parodies I've seen. I mean, the French and Saunders parody still sticks in my head, with Dawn French going, go on, taking the piss out of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. That still sticks in my head to this day. Also, if you get a chance, check out Screen Junkie's honest trailer of the 3D re-release. And I think it's Cinema Sins, Everything Wrong. I haven't seen that for a while. I'm pretty sure it's the Everything Wrong with Titanic. That's worth checking out if you get a chance. Because I think everything I could nitpick about this movie is in that one. So, but for the most part, I really enjoy this film. Like I say, there are the problems. Billy Zane I'm not a big fan of anyway. But my God, does he get on my nerves in this movie. Kathy Bates I'm a huge fan of. Unfortunately, she's underused in this movie, but when she is on screen, she is highly enjoyable as Molly Brown. But it's very... it is very slow paced, but as I've said before, I have no issue if it's developing character, if it's developing story. I do not have an issue with slow pacing. There are parts where this seems to fall apart regarding that. There are parts where you do feel, I mean, I know what it's trying to do, but the whole Jack drawing Rose naked does feel kind of pointless. Or it just at least drags on quite a while. There just seems to be a lot of stuff in here that doesn't need to be here. And I feel it is unnecessarily bloated in that sense. But seriously, if you like chick flicks, if you like slightly historic films, and if you haven't watched it already, and if you've got 3 hours to kill, I like it. I know there are people that don't like it. I know that there are people that don't like it because of the reasons I've listed. But it's beautifully done. It's beautifully shot. And for as much as I hate, you know, stroking James Cameron's ego, because I think he's more than capable of bigging up his own head, it is beautiful. And I mean, considering this is 1997, the CGI for the most part is not bad. And bear in mind, they did go over budget with some of the most amazing practical effects, like building the back end of the ship, etc., for the end kind of sinking scenes. But for, like I say, for its time, most of the CGI is pretty well done. There are some bits where the green screen in that is a little bit iffy. But for the most part, I do love this film. I do enjoy it. I think everyone is pretty much well cast. And, like I say, except for here and there, the pacing is really well. So if you do get a chance, I mean, like I say, a lot of these films I'm doing, people know of them, but you don't have to have necessarily seen them to know much about them. You could not have seen this. I mean, obviously, I mean, it helps that it's, you know, a real tragic event. But, I mean, for the most part, a lot of people will have not seen this and just know about it because it has so badly been parodied over and over again. But if you get a chance, if you think, just from what you've seen elsewhere, if you think this might be your kind of thing, then please do check it out. Because for its time, it was a masterpiece. And I think watching it all these years, I mean, I've seen this numerous times over the years. So it's not a film I've only watched like once or twice. I've watched this a good half dozen times or so. So please, if you do get a chance, check out 1997's Titanic. And we will be back tomorrow. But for now, this is Sketch, signing out.